I kid you not, every time I sit down to do Bible study, automatically now I'm tired, automatically now I can't be bothered, automatically now everything else has to be done, and I kid you not, I literally have to push through those feelings of not wanting to do it, those feelings of tiredness, those feelings of, oh, I can't be bothered, or oh, I want to do something else, I want to do something that feels more fun. I have to push through them. But by the grace of God, once I start, I feel like I can't stop.
Because I'm here to encourage you anyway. I know it's rough, I know it's tough, but I'ma show you how I came out the dust. He had his way, and now this is my story.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome to those of you just joining for the first time. I am really sorry guys, it's been a while since I have recorded a vlog. It's just been those weeks, I would say a couple of weeks, and it's not even that it's necessarily been bad weeks, but I just feel like there's always something happening, and then I haven't had time to actually sit down and do vlogs because I don't want to rush through them and just do whatever, because ultimately I want to glorify God in what I do. So it's been one of those couple of weeks, but I really wanted to do a vlog, and I really wanted to share this vlog with you guys, so I hope you'll be blessed by what I have to share with you. Before I start, for those of you that don't know what camp meeting is, I think the best way to describe it is week-long event of programs, or Christian programs, I would like to say that. So there's like different stuff. So for this one, I actually went to the youth programs, and I think it started, so when you guys are watching this vlog, it started 2 weeks before this on the Monday, and basically they had like morning program, so morning devotion line, which was on Zoom. Then they had like an evening program where there was a sermon, and then they had like an evening, so like after, I think it's called after sundown program as well, and that went on for the whole week. And honestly guys, I feel truly and utterly blessed by camp meeting. I think because camp meeting isn't in the way that it used to be, I know that last year, which is really bad, but I'm trying to be honest with you guys, last year I actually didn't watch camp meeting at all because everything was online and there wasn't exactly a youth program. I think it was just the main services, and they were all online, and you just feel like you're really disengaged when, well, maybe, let me not speak for everyone, but that's how I feel, very disengaged when you're kind of watching stuff online, you're not really getting involved, you're not there in person. So I actually didn't watch camp meeting. But this year, like I've been saying in my previous vlogs, I was like, you know what, I want to get closer with God, I want my relationship with God to get stronger. So I'm going to try and do stuff pertaining to God, even if I don't feel like it. So unfortunately I did miss Monday. I could not remember why I missed the Monday one, but I said no, I'm going to make a commitment to keep going. And praise be to God, from Tuesday all the way to Sabbath, I actually watched every single program, and then even on Sabbath I went and was able to go in person to Balham Church, where the camp meeting the youth services were being held, and I honestly was so blessed by it. And I just thank God for encouraging me, even when it didn't feel like it, to go and watch those videos, and join those programs that were going on, and then to go to the Sabbath one. And something that kind of stuck with me that I wanted to share with you guys was, I think it was one of the morning devotions, and it was talking about being with God or doing stuff with God even when you don't feel like it. And that kind of stuck with me a lot, because there were so many times, and maybe you guys can understand this as well, but there were so many times when I'm like, you know what, I don't feel in the mood to do Bible study, I don't feel in the mood to do devotion. And especially those mornings, just being honest, those mornings when I've gone to bed late, or I've just had a bad night, whether that be pain wise or just a lot on my mind, and I will be like, you know what, I really just don't want to do devotion. And I even said this to my younger sister, sorry, just going off on a tangent a little bit. I said to her, you do realise that if we didn't do devotion as well in the morning, I could actually get up a whole hour later than I actually do. And we're just laughing about it. And I said, you know what though, as much as some days I don't feel like it, I'd much more prefer that I do have to like get up an hour earlier because I'm doing devotion, because I don't know about you guys, but it just makes me feel ready for the day. But yeah, so that whole kind of thing about doing it when you don't feel like it. And like I said, as I've been trying to kind of build this help my relationship with God, thank you Lord for that, help my relationship with God and just kind of make it stronger, I've just been trying to separate my emotions, my feelings, from what needs to be done or what should be done. And I will not lie to you guys, it is hard. For those of you that are doing the Christian walk, you know it's hard, because there are some days when you feel like you're being attacked from every single angle. You just, even if like physically nothing, like if someone was looking at it from the outside, they could never see, or they never know the struggle that you're going through. There's like a battle going on with your emotions, or maybe with your mental health, and it can be really, really hard just to kind of pick yourself up and be like, you know what, I'm going to do what needs to be done. And one of the devotionals in the morning for camp meeting was focusing on this, and more so the story of Elijah, and how Elijah had gone through a season of some highs. Like, he was able to do a miracle, well, through God, God using him to rain down fire on an altar that was soaking wet, and to show that God was the only and one true God. But then in the next breath, and I don't know how long between the two accounts that we read about in the Bible, and I will link the scripture in this video so you can go and read it, because I'm just going to paraphrase and just kind of summarize it. But he went from that being like I could imagine being on top of the world, like God has just proven himself to be mighty, amazing, and because he was one that wanted the Israelites to see God and to know that God was the one true God, and then loads of them like turned back to God, you would think that was it, that's amazing, and that's where it is, and that's where it's finished. But then as I said, in the next account, we see a completely different Elijah, in the fact that he is now depressed, he is now stressing, he is now to the point where he wants God to take his life. And I think sometimes we kind of brush over this and don't think about it as much. But I don't know about you guys, especially when I was doing the devotion and they broke this down, it really made me start to think how one day you can be so like, you feel like everything is going well for you, there's blessings after blessings, and then in the next breath, and all of a sudden you feel like at your lowest point. And definitely, as I've been pursuing wanting to get closer with God again, I have definitely been feeling that. There was stuff in my life that at one point like was bringing so much joy, and maybe that was the problem in the first place, that I was focusing on that thing that is temporary and only gives temporary joy too much. But anyway, nevertheless, the things that were giving me joy have now started to become a little less joyful. There's been a lot more stresses in certain areas, and it has been hard. And I'm like, God, it doesn't make sense. At one point, all of like these areas that are now causing me a bit more stress, or may not be as joyful as they once were, but a couple of months ago, maybe a couple of years ago, these things were the things that were just like I felt so blessed about. And then that kind of made me start to think about another topic that was brought up, and that's the like exercising gratitude. And this is one of the hardest things to do, like I've said in another vlog, when you really don't want to, but I tell you, it is definitely necessary. And I haven't for a while. When my wrist was hurting, I stopped doing it for a while, but I've gone back to actually writing in my journal that I got for my birthday last year about things that I'm thankful for, and I've been doing it. I used to do it in the morning, but from hearing from someone else giving advice about it, they actually said to do it at night time, and I said, oh, okay. Sometimes I don't have, like, I must admit, like, I leave stuff to the last minute, and then by the time I get into bed I'm actually tired, so I just want to go straight to sleep. But I've tried to, and I say try but I've tried to actually be intentional about writing in my gratitude journal, because in those seasons where you don't feel great, in those seasons where you're like, this relationship with God is not going so well, when you just take the time to actually focus on those gratitude points, or points that you're grateful for, or things that you're grateful for, it really does make a difference. So even though like the seasons continually change and our emotions change, when we realize the truth in God, it makes a world of a difference. Because, for example, I think it was maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it's kind of been an ongoing trend. So I told you guys about how excited I was about starting my new job, and the thing is, the job has not changed. It's just me. I think I get frustrated when I feel like I'm not growing. I start to be really ungrateful, if I'm being honest. And I started to feel that way, and I have been feeling that way. I'm like, yeah, but God, I don't like this, I don't like that, or this could be better, that could be better. And then, as I said, when I started writing again in that gratitude journal, I was like, but Chelsea, this is all the stuff that you have to be grateful for. Especially when I'm recording this vlog, I've heard about so many people being made redundant, people losing their jobs. I'm like, Chelsea, you're acting so ungrateful. And as I said, I'm just using it as the aspect of my job, because there's been other aspects of my life as well. But I'm like, you're being so ungrateful. You're moaning about, that you don't like this, you don't like that. But you should be thankful that you even have a job. Because before January, I wasn't working. Before January, I wasn't even able to do a lot of things. I remember that a lot of the time I would refuse to go out of the house unless it was warm and I could walk. But then that negatively impacted my physical health, because I'd be in a lot of pain after walking, because it's a lot on my joints, and then just a whirlwind and cycle of all of that stuff. And I'm like, from where you were there to how you are now, like, Chelsea, fix up. Literally, that's how I felt, fix up. And just going back to the story of Elijah, and if I just focus more so on my job aspect, in January, when I first got the job, it was the best thing ever. Like, I was like, this is amazing, God answered a prayer, I got this job, even though at the time, and that's a testimony in itself, I actually couldn't speak. Like, I had just been recovering from a cold, but I think it was really bad. I don't know if it was COVID or not. I don't think it was, but I could be wrong. And I actually had lost my voice, and when I got called for the interview, my voice was barely there. And even in the interview, it kept going in and out. I wanted to cough, I wanted to choke, but you know, the kind of stigma with people coughing now, because it just links, everyone thinks it's to do with COVID. So I was like, okay, I'm not going, I don't want to cough. But for God to allow such an amazing thing to happen and to get this job, I was like, I was so grateful for it. And then now I'm at this position, almost, actually I think it might be 8 months later, and I just complain about it so much. And I felt really, I was like, Chelsea, like, you need to fix up. But all of this saying and all this faffing around, I just want to encourage you with this, that even in those times where your feelings may not match, or where your feelings are telling you to be so many different ways and to do so many different things, to your feelings tell you that, oh no, today don't read your Bible, today don't pray, today don't do this. Trust me, those feelings will come and go. Those feelings are going to be changing all the time. But the one thing that stays constant, and it sounds cliche, but it's true, the one thing that stays constant is God. So even in those times where you're like, I don't feel like praising, even in those times where you say, I don't feel like singing, even in those times where you feel like, I just want that extra hour of sleep, I can't be bothered to get up and do my devotion with you, Lord, I tell you, push past those feelings and do it anyway. Because guess what, your feelings will follow. And I've noticed that I know that from the meeting finishing, what I've tried to do is, and which is something that my sister Rian encouraged me with, is taking at least 30 minutes during the day. So not during my morning devotion, but actually during the day, to sit down and do Bible study, to study the Word. And so I've been trying to do that more so. So, and it camp meeting kind of helped with that, because there were afternoon programs going on as well. And I kid you not, every time I sit down to do Bible study, automatically now I'm tired, automatically now I can't be bothered, automatically now everything else has to be done. And I kid you not, I literally have to push through those feelings of not wanting to do it, those feelings of tiredness, those feelings of, oh, I can't be bothered, or, oh, I want to do something else, I want to do something that feels more fun. I have to push through them. But by the grace of God, once I start, I feel like I can't stop. And it actually has been amazing. Even Rihanna was telling me, so we hadn't, after she had mentioned that, we hadn't really spoken about it again. And then when we spoke about it again, another time, she said, I kid you not, like when you first start, it's so hard. And then you feel like you can go longer than 30 minutes. And I said, yes, that's exactly how I feel. And I just want to encourage you guys with that. Just, though it may be hard to push through the feelings, and to go against what naturally comes, I tell you this, to just keep trying, to just keep pushing, because there is going to be some changes, and some great changes in your life just because of it, just because you've chosen, you know what, I'm not going to listen to my feelings at this moment, I'm just going to follow God. And like I said, it's not easy, and I still mess up, I still am not so great. Sometimes I let my feelings get the better of me. And not just in terms of like the Bible study that I said I've been doing during the day, but also just in terms of other aspects of my life. I trying not to put all my feelings and emotions into it, because sometimes, for instance, if you're in an argument with someone and you're irritated with them at that time, I've found that it's best not to just listen sometimes and not always go to respond, because you'll end up saying something that you didn't want to say, that actually hurts the other person, or you'll end up saying it in a way that you didn't want it to come across. And like I said, it's the same way when it comes to our relationship with God. So once again, I just encourage you, first of all, to actually read Elijah's story, and as I said, it's linked in this video, the verses that I think are great to read. And also, like I said, to not just base it on our emotions and feelings. And that doesn't mean I'm discounting emotions and feelings, no way, I am not doing that at all, because your feelings and emotions, God cares about those. But what I'm saying is, rather than letting them take control, give over the control to God. So take those emotions, so take those frustrations, take that anger, that sadness, even the happiness, and take it to God. Because when God is in control of those emotions, He knows exactly how to use them and how to work them properly. Because we're human beings, we're emotional people. We cry, we laugh, we shout, we go crazy a little bit, and those are not bad things, but it's just when we allow those to take precedent over everything else, and then it allowing our feelings and emotions to kind of motivate our actions and what we do, and that's when it becomes a dangerous thing. But once again, I just encourage you, no matter how it feels, no matter how hard it can be, to just keep pursuing God, to keep going after Him, to build that relationship with Him. And this is not like a promotion video or anything, but because it touched me, you know, when you hear something good, or when something good has happened and you just want to share it with people, that's exactly how I feel right now. And I was truly blessed by by camp meeting this year, and it can still be found on SEC Media, and the youth. I can't count for the main service, but for the youth service, it was definitely a blessing. And if you guys have a chance, if you feel like it, and I hope you do, that you will go and watch it, because it was honestly a blessing. And I thank God for using the people that He did in a way that He did. And yeah, I can't wait until next year, which is funny because I never thought I would say that, especially having to watch camp meeting online, but I am looking forward to it. So I hope you guys were blessed and encouraged by this vlog, and by the grace of God, and I'm trying, guys, to be better. By the grace of God, I will see you guys in 2 weeks time. And also, that you guys would have noticed that I also took a breather from social media for a little bit, and that honestly has helped too. So that's just a little side note that I'll just put in there. But yeah, I hope you guys once again were blessed and encouraged, and I'll see you. Bye.
But it's alright, but it's okay.